that we were risking everything by attempting to leave. A society which treated its citizens as commodities was never going to allow such an exodus. When Shadow Patrol caught us, the consequences for some had been devastating. Davis, caught by a bullet as he loosened the rope which tethered us to our previous home. He'd been dead before we left the harbour. Jackson, left behind, injured as she attempted to bring the new patrol recruit safely to the boat. They had made it while she had not. I was terrified her injury would land her in clearance, and was certain that Mason shared my fear. I became aware of Roger's eyes on me and realised I had yet to answer his question. We'll need a little time to adjust and get to know one another, I suppose. I gestured to the other occupants on the deck. There are a lot of different groups here, and we left in a hurry, no time to properly explain, so... He hauled on the wheel, and I felt the boat begin to turn. There'll be time when we get there. I'm hoping we can create quite a community now. There'll be more than 20 of us. I fell silent. This had been my hope, too, but a distant future one. I had planned to stay behind, to continue the resistance in the Beck with Cam. The last-minute panic had landed me on the boat, setting off for the unknown, without his reassuring presence. Meanwhile, there were other, newer issues to deal with. I found myself actually nervous about coping without the continuous sustenance and routines provided by the Beck, which, however frustrating, were all I had ever known. The sound of footsteps brought me back to the present, and I turned to see Tyler striding in our direction. Taking a deep breath, I forced a smile that I hoped to look more confident than I felt. Ever since she had discovered the budding relationship between Cam and I, she had treated us coolly, and I worried that the tentative friendship we had started to develop was lost forever. Ignoring me, she directed her gaze at Rogers. How long? Few hours yet. Better to get some sleep. She snorted. Not likely. He shrugged and turned his attention to the wheel again. The fog now swirled thickly in all directions, and I had no idea how he knew which direction he was travelling. He consulted an instrument to one side of the dashboard and squinted again into the distance. Moving the wheel again, he adjusted our course for the second time in as many minutes, completely unaware of our presence now. Left standing next to Tyler, I found myself staring awkwardly into the water with no idea what to say. My companion seemed to share my discomfort and, after a moment, gestured to the cupboards at the side of the deck. Everyone's starving, Quin. Want to see if you can find something to eat in there? Glad of something useful to do and realizing that my stomach was now far calmer than earlier, I followed her instructions. Opening the locker, I found several packages wrapped in a pale-coloured cloth. I looked up at Tyler, but she had anticipated my question. Provisions for Shadow Patrol. I remembered that the clearance boats were also used for fishing. The first of the packages contained the standard-issue oatcakes. They were a little hard, but edible. I shut the locker and straightened up, the package clasped in my hands. Do we need to ration these? She nodded approvingly. We should be okay to eat one package for now, a single cake each. We need to keep up strength and morale for the rest of the journey. She glanced at our captain, whose concentration was still fixed on the waters ahead. Rogers has assured me there'll be food when we get there. She took 2 cakes from the stack in my hands and gestured to the rest of the boat. Go on, I'll keep him company. I moved away, happy that Tyler was at least able to converse with me about matters of importance. We had to be able to function as part of a team, and she knew that. Tyler's strength had always been her ability to remain calm in a crisis and put aside her own concerns for the benefit of others. It was what had made her such a good patrol super. I made slow progress across the constantly rolling deck, heading for the clearance citizens first, since they were the group who needed the sustenance most urgently. When I reached my friend Harper, I was rewarded with a smile. As I returned it, I heard a strange sound coming from my left as something struck the side of the boat. Get down! The scream came from Rogers, who was frantically spinning the wheel of the boat again. As the people around me began to stir, struggling to their knees before